Ron and Ellen Dearinger here again with you in our continuing study in Psalms. And this week we are going in numerical order. We're moving from Psalm 23 to Psalm 24. Not because I've decided I need to do them in order, but I believe that God led us here. And here's why. Not this past week, but the week prior to that, our church had a week of prayer and fasting, and it was a phenomenal week. But each day, when I would sit down, and as I began to pray and seek God and sense His presence, I didn't know that was in Psalm 24, but in verse 4, where it talks about who may ascend into the hill of the Most High of the Lord, he who has clean hands and a pure heart. And God impressed that line, that part of that verse to me over and over again, that He's calling His people to have clean hands and a pure heart. And we'll talk about what that means as we work through the psalm, but for the time being, we'll go back to the beginning in Psalm 1. But first, I would greet you with a greeting out of the Old Testament this time. It was a greeting that the Lord spoke directly to Moses, and He told him to tell Aaron and his sons that when they blessed the children of Israel, that they were to use this blessing. And it's out of Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26. And it goes like this. It says, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up His countenance upon you." And here's this thing of, "and give you peace." And again, the peace of God that passes understanding. As we look at Psalm 24, I'm going to go ahead and read the whole thing because it's one of those that just has to be presented as a whole, and then we'll work through it. "The earth is the Lord's, and all its fullness, the world and those who dwell therein. For He has founded it upon the water, upon the seas, and established it upon the waters. Who may ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who may stand in His holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully. He shall receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek Him, who seek your face. Lift up your heads, O you gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in." Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O you gates. Lift up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Back to verse 1. "The earth is the Lord's, and all its fullness, the world and those who dwell therein." God is still the owner of this world. He's the creator. Everything that's in it, everything, the heavens around it, He is the owner. Most people in our world today don't believe there's a creator. They don't believe there's a God. They believe that we're here as a result of some cosmic explosion somewhere out in the universe that somehow mysteriously made the order and precision of the universe, of our solar system, come out of chaos and confusion and explosion. I don't understand that. Now, if I was a betting man, I don't gamble anymore, I'd want to be an intelligent gambler, and I would want to play the odds. Here's a few odds for those of you who want to or can consider the chance that maybe there is an intelligent design. The odds that one simple protein molecule could form by chance, here's a number for you. 1 in 10 to the 113th power. That number stretches out there a long, long ways. But here's one even better. People who have researched this have come up with the odds, the chance of life beginning randomly. It's 1 in 10 to the 40,000th power. You know, the odds are incredibly against anything but intelligent design. I know, most of you know, God is the creator. In Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 17, speaking of Jesus, who was God's instrument of creation, says he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven, on earth, whether they're visible or invisible. All things were, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things consist. Without him, things would be back to a dead universe. In him all things consist. I don't understand how people can deny that there is a creator, that we're here for a purpose. There's design in everything. There's intelligent design. But unless God speaks to people's heart, unless they receive what he has to say, the truth, they're more willing to believe and go against these incredible odds and to just accept the simple truth. The world and those who dwell therein belong to him, for he has founded it upon the seas, and he has established it upon the waters. You go back into the book of Genesis, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. The Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Last part of verse 2, for he has founded it upon the waters and has established it, founded it upon the seas and established it upon the waters. It's clear, it's scripturally sound that creation began. God established it on the waters. And as we look at this entire psalm, the reason I go into depth and detail about this creation, this aspect of who God is, it gives us perspective about who we are and who he is. Now, next week, we're going to dig deep into this, who may ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who may stand in his holy place, and what does it mean to have clean hands and a pure heart. This morning, we spent a couple hours in church, and we live streamed Franklin Graham's Prayer March 2020. It was phenomenal. It was incredible. It was, as we watched and we saw thousands and thousands, I think there's 50, 60,000 people there. And as we saw them in these places where the politicians are doing their best to take away our religious freedoms, people were praying. They were laying hands on the side of buildings. They were gathering in groups. They were praying for our country, praying for our leaders, praying that God would intervene. And as we were there in the church, we were praying with them, and we could just sense, as they could there, God's presence, his benediction on that. If you get a chance, watch a video of that. You'll be blessed. So for this week, that's all we're going to do, and I will again say, God bless and take care.